Well, good evening, everyone.
Blurry.
Well, we're going to have to adjust
Hold on.
We're going to adjust here for you peeps to make sure everybody has a clear picture of my ugly face.
Stop it. Hello.
There it is. It's clear, I think. Hi, Linda.
Hi,
Good evening,
Linda.
good evening, good evening. Wow, we're going to have quite an interesting show here tonight, guys. Of course, you know how we always start. We're going to talk about good old temperatures here in PA. Mother Nature. Can we both gang her up and bitch slap her?
Yeah.
Like she doesn't, like, we had temperatures almost in the 80s the past couple of days. And here today we only reached about 40-ish. We might have caught 40 a little bit. It's currently 34 and we are supposed, it says it feels like 28 though, and we're supposed to get down to 30. So I don't know what the feel like because we do have high winds. Tomorrow we're supposed to have, it's supposed to be partially sunny and partially cloudy. We are supposed to peak at maybe 54 with 33 at night. And then we're like in the high 40s, high 50s. And then come next Tuesday, we go down to 28 degrees with only a nighttime temperature of 19. And that, folks, is why we're all getting sick. So with that being said, tonight's topics are going to be, let me just check here for a minute. Oh, okay. Tonight's topic is going to be like a runoff of what we covered on Tuesday on the other side. We were talking about 911 calls, and Gabriella did some research on a few of them, and I just have, mine's called Creepy Calls from the Dead. So it's going to be quite interesting. And I kind of like, we kind of had a similar thing happen to us, which we touched on one time before, and I'll bring up after I do mine, and then we get into yours and we can kind of do our conversing. Hi, Cactus. How are you? Hello, all the lurkers too. I agree. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so let's start here. Imagine your phone ringing in the middle of the night. You pick it up and hear a voice you recognized immediately. It's someone you love, someone who shouldn't be calling you because they're dead. Tonight, we're diving into one of the most chilling paranormal phenomena ever reported: phantom phone calls, mysterious calls that seem to come from beyond the grave. Some people hear whispers, some hear breathing, and some hear the unmistakable voice of someone who passed away hours, days, or even years earlier. Are these glitches in technology, tricks of grief, or could the dead really be trying to reach out to us? Tonight, we answer the call. So I did some research. There just is like a hodgepodge of just a lot of them, no in-depth research on them. We could always do that later on, like we did with the 911 calls. If something really catches your eye and you say, hey, you know, that one sounds cool. Can you touch base on it a little further and see if you can get some more information on it? But basically, they're just all little snippets of claims that people made. Now, before I start, I'll get on to the not claim, but what we had when we were down at Crybaby Bridge, and I'm sure you heard us talking about it before. We were in the middle of our investigation, and I was using my phone for the SLS. And we were watching, that bridge had a gentleman that when the bridge was in, I believe, originally in West Virginia, there was a gentleman, brand new father, had brand new baby, a baby girl, I believe, and he had fallen off the bridge to his death. And we're pretty sure that maybe his spirit was attached to it because we did see the figure of a guy, and we seen, it was so creepy because it was showing the guy like fallen and then rolling off over the edge of the bridge. And it just kept on repeating it, repeating it, repeating it. On the SLS, we like literally saw this image. Well, in all of that, my phone rings. Now, I don't answer a phone during an investigation unless it would be a true emergency. But it showed up all like digits or symbols or something like that, where they're like, guys, look at this. And it was just the weirdest numbers and everything and that on there. Wow. The kids said, well, Mom, maybe you should answer it because maybe it's a spirit calling or something. And by the time I went to answer it, it stopped.
Yeah.
So, and then something a little bit later kind of did like a little, almost like it was going to ring again, but it didn't. So that was kind of tying into this whole stuff here. So pretty interesting stuff. We hadn't had anything happen unusual today yet. So, but I do have, if you look behind me there, we do have another, it's fluctuating a little bit. Now, I know a lot of people probably can say it's because of those lights around. No, that's normal right there. The lights, and they're not flickering, but you can see it fluctuate a little bit. If you see that baby fluctuate to completely to the top, and we don't notice it,
Or even to yellow.
something, well,
It's that green right now.
yeah, it's like green. I would say, yeah, if it goes up to yellow, that's 2 notches.
But it kind of stopped.
So, but yeah,
We looked over at it.
so kind of keep an eye on that, of course, up in that area. It's, oh, I have blinking lights in there, so it is going to do that thing. But if you see something odd,
If you see something.
if you see something, say something. Exactly. So, okay, let's start here.
Well, can I start with my non-911 call first?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. You can go ahead.
Okay, so in my research of doing the mysterious 911 calls, Google would not let me
Hi,
search up
Ronan.
like 3 of them, and they kept on bringing me to this one case where a guy called 911 for an attack on his pet zebra, or from his pet zebra. And there was the other one where they kept on bringing me back to that North Carolina one where he thinks he saw like a skinwalker, and it jumped in his truck and everything. We covered that one. So I was upset. I was
Yeah,
like,
you were.
I was like, what the hell is going on with Google? So in the midst of that, this one was one of them that you brought up from the
Prior.
AI
Yeah.
thing or whatever. So this one is called Brandon Swanson, 2008. Swanson's call was to his parents, not 911. Over the course of nearly 50 minutes, he remained relatively calm while trying to coordinate a meeting point with his father. The timeline. The call began around 12:30 a.m. after his car slid into a ditch near Taunton, Minnesota, though he mistakenly believed he was near Lind. Observations. During the walk, Brandon described passing fences and hearing the sound of running water. He told his father he could see lights in the distance, which he believed were from the town of Lind. But that's not where he was at. He was in a different town. The final moment was at 2:30 a.m. Brandon's sudden exclamation suggested he had tripped, fallen, or encountered an immediate obstacle. The phone status. Although the call disconnected shortly after his exclamation, which he said, "Oh shit," the phone remained active and continued to ring when his parents called back until the next day, eventually going to voicemail.
Wow. Well, see, and that ties right in with a lot of this stuff here. Is that the only one you got?
That was the
What about the-
911 call. Or
What about the-
non-911
Oh,
call.
okay.
These are my other actual 911 calls. That one's 911 call. This one,
Well, do you want to do those first and then I get into these, or what do you want to do? Or me do this and then you end with this, or like, how do you want to do it?
you do yours first.
These are just accounts. There's like no whole story to them or anything like that. It's just like boom, 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 boom. But some of them's like rather creepy, and some of them kind of touch you here, and you know. Okay, the
Hi,
funeral.
Ronan.
Yeah, I said hi to him a couple minutes
I
ago.
didn't.
He showed no, you didn't. You were in your stuff, and I kind of rudely said hi, Ronan. Not rude to Ronan, but rude to you
Rude to
because yeah, I
me.
was being rude to you and I sorry. Will you ever forgive me?
It looked like it went to yellow while you were talking, but when you looked at it, it dropped. See, that's what I said. It looked like it went up, but when we looked at it, it like didn't. It wasn't fluctuating at all.
Come on in and touch that if you want. You're welcome in here. You go through here all the time anyhow. Show us your stuff tonight. No, you went down to white now. Don't do that. Don't be shy. Now it went down to white.
Because we're looking at it.
Okay. The funeral home call. A man received a voicemail from his grandmother's phone after she already died. The eerie detail, her phone had been in the funeral safe that had been locked.
Yeah, that's interesting.
The dead husband's cell phone. A woman reported receiving several calls from her husband's number after he had been buried with his phone. When she answered, she heard static and faint breathing. Now, I wonder how long he had been gone, because to me, if there was a phone buried with my husband and he had just been buried and I'm hearing breathing and him trying to call, I'd be having them out there digging him back up and saying, hey, my husband's still alive.
You better go dig
him
up.
Yeah. The hospital goodbye. A woman received a call from her father while he was in the hospital. They talked briefly. Minutes later, the hospital called to say he had already passed away before her call even happened. He just wanted to say goodbye to her. He wanted to make sure that she heard him one last time. The answer machine message. In the 1990s, a family claimed their answering machine recorded a message that sounded exactly like their deceased son saying, I'm okay, don't worry about me. And no one else had access to that particular phone. The payphone soldier. A mother reported receiving a phone call from her son after he was killed during the Vietnam War. The line was filled with static, but she swore she heard him say, Mom, I love you.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the one that got here. The 3 a.m. ring. A woman's phone rang every night at 3 a.m. after her husband died. When she answered, there was silence, except what sounded like footsteps and breathing.
Huh.
The call that came before death. Are you going to call me too? Are you going to call? A man received a call from his sister saying goodbye and telling him that she loved him. Later that day, he learned she had died in a car accident before the time that she had given him that call.
That's sad too.
Yeah, that's like, wow. She must have had a premonition of her own death or something. I need to hurry up and call.
No, she died before she made the call.
Well, that's true. Yeah, so scratch that, Diane.
She made it beyond the grave.
She made it beyond the grave. The empty office phone. Workers reported that the phone in a deceased co-worker's office kept ringing after his death. That might not be unusual. Caller ID showed his extension, even though the line had been disconnected.
That's like that one with the dementia lady that kept calling from beyond the grave.
Yeah.
And the line was disconnected and there was a freaking house fire.
Yeah. Crazy. Like, Wow. I mean, in a way, if you're getting a phone call from a deceased, especially if they're saying something like "I miss you" or "I'm okay" and "I love you," something, I guess it would be touching. But then, you get some of these things like that. That's just downright creepy.
Creepy.
So
Hold on. Linda said that's what like hubby's story of a person dying before a message was left on the cell phone.
yeah, you send me anything, like anybody on here. We said this forum is not us; it's us. So anything you want to share, Gabriella and I, even if you want to send something to Abby, just send whatever you want to share. Or when we're on StreamYard, we can announce ahead of time, or I think it shows up on the screen. Just say, hey, can I come on, be a guest? We'll send you an invite and you can come on and join us and tell us a little bit about your experience. That's what this is all about.
Yeah, his friend was asking for help.
Wow. You have to tell me that whole story, Linda.
Yeah,
Send it to me.
One day I'll actually write it up for you.
Yeah, you do that. Matter of fact, there's a story that she told me too. It was called, correct me if I'm saying it wrong, Linda, the Tanawa. I believe that's what it is. Tan, I think, IWHAN. I think that's what it is, Tanawa. So I will be, anybody that has anything that God knows that Cactus has sent us in stuff that we've researched. So please, our show is your show. The call that nobody else heard. A man claimed his dead mother called to warn him not to take a certain road home that night. He changed his route. Later, he learned that there had been a fatal crash on that exact road he was going to take home.
Interesting that it was from.
That's like, I saw that whole accident with your dad and Eric that night. Sometimes I'm there like, I wish I would have pulled out a phone and said, hey, you guys all right? You guys all right? And of course, Nancy was driving and I was pregnant. So, and I had the chills so uncontrollably, which I knew at that point something was not right already because I had those chills. And you guys know when I get that, some shit's going to hit the fan.
Mm-hmm.
So the Carl Jung telephone incident, and this is the one I told Gabriella. I don't know the whole. The famous psychologist Carl Jung reported something extremely strange in the early 1900s. After the death of a patient, Jung claimed his telephone. Here we go again. His telephone suddenly rang loudly in his office. When he answered, no one was on the line. Moments later, he learned the patient had died at the exact same moment that phone rang. Jung later described the event while discussing unexplained psychic phenomena. Now, he's of course a famous psychologist, and he has document after document out there. There's going to be a couple other guys that you're going to hear their name in here that has Tanafa. So it's Tanafa. It's not Tanawa. Okay. So I'm glad you corrected me. But yeah, I'm going to be looking that up too, because that was rather interesting. So thanks for giving me the correct pronunciation, because I do like pronouncing things the proper way.
It's weird that it's not Tanawa.
Yeah, it must be. So what is it? WH's in New Zealand is an F sound?
Maybe just the W. Yeah.
Okay, the Chicago disconnected phone case. In the 1970s, a Chicago family reported receiving 3 phone calls from their recently deceased relative. The problem, the man's phone line had already been disconnected right after his death. Each time they answered the phone, they heard static and faint breathing. The case was investigated and documented by paranormal researcher D. Scott Rogo in his studies on paranormal phone phenomena. So this Scott Rogo and another guy, they actually wrote a book on all of these type of things that they documented. So it's not shit that, like a hoax or something that people made up. They're actually documented cases. So
That's unusual sounding language. You're both right.
wow. Well, I'm hoping, I think when I do the volcano, I think I have those ones pronounced right when I do that. So it did go up a little bit, I see again. The British widows' calls. A widow in England reported receiving calls from her late husband several nights in a row. She recognized his voice saying her nickname. Researchers later included the case in the book Phone Calls from the Dead, written by D. Scott Rogo and Raymond Bayless. The investigators documented over 50 similar cases. The call recorded on an answering machine. They must love answering machines. In the 1980s, a family discovered something chilling on their answering machine. A voice message had been received that sounded exactly like their deceased father saying, "I'm all right, don't worry." No one had access to the house during the time the message was recorded. The cell phone that rang in the coffin. One of the creepiest modern stories involves a phone buried with its owner. At a funeral in Europe, family members claimed the phone inside the coffin started ringing during the burial. When investigators checked later, the phone battery had supposedly been dead for days. The call could never be traced. So there we are. That's what we got in those. So
What is that one?
this is the outro.
Oh, okay.
So
Wow.
now Gabriella will be going into 911 calls.
Yes, the very few that I was actually able to find because Google decided not to work for me today for some godforsaken reason. That still drives me crazy because it was like everything I typed in that had like creepy 911 calls or something, the only thing that would show up was the one from North Carolina where the guy thought that he ran into a skinwalker because it jumped into the back of his truck and then disappeared. Well, first he saw a person bleeding and then that thing. So
yeah, didn't he say it looked like a soldier?
he said it looked like a soldier
bleeding
on the side of the road that was bleeding heavily, and that's why he called 911 to begin with. And then as he passed it, it changed from being that to its, I guess, original form, a pale creature.
He noticed it in his rearview mirror, and then he turned around and like, oh shit.
And you could hear it thump on the back of
and
his
the funny
truck.
thing is you can tell, like a lot of people say, oh, he probably just made it up. Unless he's one hell of a good actor, you could hear the panic in his voice when he saw that thing. So, yeah.
Google just doesn't like you, Gabriella. Apparently not today.
Google doesn't like a lot of people lately, and we've noticed when we're doing research and talking back and forth to each other while we're doing research, Alexa seems to like to butt in and listen, and when we catch her at it, she goes, I don't know how to answer that question.
Yeah. The last few times that we recorded, she popped up. I can't answer that or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that question, or I don't have a response to that, or something lame ass, and I'm there, why are you spying on us? And then you could hear like a, and then she stops.
Or just like
a, yeah.
I know you're listening.
Like, come on. If that's not creepy enough.
All right, so this one was a pretty recent one, which I actually remember the news talking about this and stuff. So this I labeled the Las Vegas alien backyard 911 call. In early May 2023, a family in Las Vegas called 911 to report that a UFO had crashed in their backyard and that they were seeing non-human creatures. The incident gained widespread attention after police body cam footage captured a mysterious green flash in the sky just minutes before the call. This is the 911 call detail. A 16-year-old named Angel made the call at approximately 12:30 a.m. on May 1st, 2023. He described the following to the dispatcher. The creatures, 2 figures between 8 and 10 feet tall, with very large, shiny eyes and big mouths. Non-human. The caller repeatedly insisted the beings were 100% not human. The encounter. The family reported hearing many footsteps and feeling a shock wave when the object hit the ground. One creature was reportedly seen sitting inside a piece of equipment in the yard.
Wow.
Police investigation and response. The officers' observations. The officers were responding to the call. Officers responding to the call were notably nervous, with one stating on camera that he had butterflies because his partner had also seen a shooting star just before the report. Physical evidence. A circular imprint was found in the dirt of the family's backyard. Case status. The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, or LVMPD, initially investigated but later closed the case as unfounded. Ironic. Scientific explanation. Experts from the American Meteor Society stated the flash seen across Nevada, California, and Utah was likely a meteor. And in the current status is the family has remained steadfast on their story despite facing online threats and accusations of a hoax. They eventually hired an attorney to warn off trespassers.
It's catchy.
Trespassers attempting to enter their property. While some investigators believe the incident was not a hoax, no concrete proof of extraterrestrial life was ever recovered.
Here's what bothers me about it, and I hate being redundant every stupid time over and over and over, but redundancy seems to be the way to go lately because nobody wants to listen. How many times do I have to say, unless you're there and you see it with your own eyes and hear it with your own ears, who are you to hurry up and say hoax,
It's
hoax?
The internet. This was 2023, so this is when
it was really,
AI was starting to become a thing, but not like as bad as it.
It's like the debunkers. Okay, it's fine and dandy if you want to, you want to start trouble and you say, okay, I can debunk that, or say, okay, it's a hoax. But then when you resort to threatening people, they just recently did that to Angelina. And Angelina wasn't threatening anybody. She was presenting facts. And
I just don't. The thing about those type of people are they hide behind a screen. They would not dare come up to you and say that to your face. They're hiding behind the screen because they know that nobody can do anything about that except for block them or hide their comments or something.
Yeah.
So
it is
ridiculous.
I just don't understand it, it's the same as your beliefs, like your religious beliefs, your political beliefs, your whatever beliefs. You're entitled to believe what you want. Nobody will ever just, harm you or whatever. What word am I looking for? Criticize? Well, no, they do criticize though. I don't know what the word I'm looking for. Because you're entitled to your own opinion. That's your God-given right. You are entitled to opinion. But when you're taking somebody's opinion and you're using threats or doing personal attacks and stuff,
using your opinion to shove down the information that you heard or know about down that person's throat, then
it's just like I don't understand why people can't like what I've been recently doing, because I'm pretty vocal on like some things that's going on currently in that. And if I do happen to make a post about it, if you share my, if you say, hey, I don't want to fight, but I disagree, fine. But if you come on my post and you start making fun of me, or you start bashing people, or you start trying to throw shit down my throat that you're not going to convince me otherwise on, then I either do one or two things. I say, hey, there's a scroll button. Go on your own page, make your own post, and I'll delete their post, or I'll just delete it and just totally ignore it. And like I had one the other day, somebody came on and made it was not a horrible comment, but it was, you could tell it was snide. And I just deleted it, and then I put on there, I said, hey guys, if you want to come on my page and make a comment, or you know, or if you agree with what I'm saying, that's great, you know, because there's not going to be any fighting on there, just like on our channels. If you have a different opinion and you really think you want to stir up trouble, do it on your own page, because it's not happening here. It's the same as on all of our channels. I don't, if you like us, great, keep on coming back, keep on coming back. If you don't like us, there's a little thing called, you don't have to put on. You can flick to another channel and watch it, or, you know, just ignore it, you know. I don't understand why people have to butt into everybody's business all the time. And then when you can't just debate like adults, you have to resort to body shaming and insults and personal attacks. I've seen some personal attacks that was horrible. Body shaming's bad enough, but when you start bringing in people's family members and hitting way below the belt,
Yeah.
there's no place for that, especially on our shows.
No, only condemned for my beliefs on religion/spirituality or political thought, or whether or not I believe in the paranormal.
Exactly, and that's how it should be. You know, it's you're. I'm going to put this up because I agree with her. How do we get here? Because your dad was watching our show, which I was a little bit surprised. He was watching our Universal, or no, the last one we did. He says, why don't you have the comments on the side that everybody can see? On the video.
I don't know how to do that.
I don't know how to do that either.
Well, yeah, I do. It's literally right here. But you have to have... You have to upgrade.
Yeah, I'm not paying money when I can get something free. I don't have it to pay. You know, I hate keep on saying that, you know. I really admire the people that can go out and do this and do that. Like I have a group that they sent me to join, and they're fine. But it bothers me because the same people that told us to join are always complaining. When we were doing the jail, oh, your prices are way too high, which is funny because he raised the prices. Way too high. And they went and pretty much, not every, but the majority of investigations they did, they had to pay a pretty good price to go do them, but they did like the freebies that they got. Us, when we go on investigations, we haven't been to fantastic places. The one coming up Saturday is going to be a big deal for us, because that one's going to be it's going to be a big deal for us, and that was thanks to some donations.
Which I got to tell you something after this.
Okay. And we appreciate that, but most of ours, we go to cemeteries, or we go to places where they just ask for a donation, or they're just kind and said, yeah, we have activity, come on in and do an investigation. Like I would love to go to Penhurst, the Hillview Manor, the Ross House, the Shenley Hotel, the Stanley Hotel. I'm going to look into, we didn't do an investigation, but we had pictures, and Abby caught that great apparition from the Battleship North Carolina. I would love to go back there, but we got to see what it costs to see if we can get in, because your dad said he would take us for an investigation. He just wouldn't join. He would stay in a hotel
of course,
while we did the investigation. So I did secure another one. We're supposed to get that church. We haven't heard back on that yet. we have the one on Saturday, and next month we are guaranteed one on the 18th. So we do have that one 100% definitely lined up. So we are working on them, guys. So you guys have been so loyal to us and stuck by us, and we so appreciate that you've been patient. And we're hoping, like Linda said 1,000 times, this is going to be our year, and we're hoping we can bring you some good content. So,
people are being priced out of the paranormal investigations.
and I think that's what hurts me the most, Linda, because, why is it that, and I mean, you're my good friend. And if you said, Diane, I can't see you not being able to afford that, not offensive wise, I would say, Linda, I'll show you our bank account and our bills, and then you tell me if we can afford it or not. And I can guarantee you, you're going to say, shit, how are you even affording to live right now? I mean, that's how we are struggling. But I'm not complaining. I'm not. So don't take it the wrong way. But then you get these people every weekend, they're going to these phenomenal places, and they'll look at me and say, yeah, I don't know, prices are high, and yeah, everybody's struggling. Well, don't tell me that if you're spending all that kind of money going to these places, and these places are allowing these people to spend that kind of money, and then people like us that would kill to go to a place like that, we can't get there because we just simply can't afford it. It's not that we don't want to go there. We just can't afford it. I've even called up places that said, hey, instead of us staying from like 7 o'clock at night till like 6 or 7 the next morning, can we get it for 4 hours? We'll travel and be there only 4 hours. We don't care. To have the opportunity to go into a phenomenal place that everybody else has been blessed and been able to go to, hell yeah. Yeah, give me a break. Let me go into these places because we would love that. I mean, but hey, like I said, not complaining. So, but that's the gist. Like I said, we do have that investigation coming up Saturday. I don't know how many people figured it out. I know some of you already know where we're going. Anybody have any questions about anything here? Or now Saturday, keep in mind, we usually do Gathering Gab, unless we would do an afternoon quick show or something. We probably won't have one on Saturday. So our next one will be The Other Side on Tuesday, and that'll be the volcano one. And Thursday, we're not sure what we're going to do yet. We have to come up with, who knows, maybe our next Universal Yums box will be in by then. But we're going to try to keep it on Tuesdays. We're going to try to keep more informative and just regular, maybe odd topics. Thursdays, we'll try to keep with that creepiness and paranormal. We'll keep that aspect for Thursdays. And then Saturday could be a hodgepodge. I am planning on one of these Saturdays for a Gathering Gab. I'm thinking about having a little game coming up. I know we talked about this before. And I'll gather up some of my stuff in that, and maybe there'll be prizes given out, and that's see whoever has the most correct answers, and that they can get a prize. Not sure what we're going to do yet. I'm still playing around with it, so keep that in mind, guys. Have any ideas, any thoughts, any more suggestions, let us know. So what you want to talk about, Gabriella?
I still have one more.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know that. Go ahead.
Now, Mom talking and talking and talking. Okay,
I do rattle on a lot.
My last one is Alyssa McLemore, 2009 911 call. In April 2009, a 21-year-old girl named Alyssa McLemore, I don't know, vanished in Kent, Washington after a 10-second 911 call. The call, in the early morning, a call from her phone contained a woman screaming, "Help me," followed by a man's voice saying, "I'll hurt you." Outcome, she was never seen or heard from again, and the case remains unsolved.
And the sad thing about that is if she made a call like that, and this is 2009, no updates on that at all.
Not that I could find.
They have that 24 to 48 hour period where after that it kind of looks That's like this Nancy Guthrie. She's 84 years old and she needs meds. Like I'm hoping they find her alive, but the longer this goes on, especially her age, it's looking grimmer and grimmer, and that's heartbreaking. It's sad.
Yeah.
And I have some theories behind that, and I'm going to keep them to myself and see if they come out right in the end. But I don't like talking about stuff like that because,
Yeah, we don't want to be sad.
yeah,
This is a cheerful show
So,
most of the time.
well, we were watching. Of course, we say enough. We watch Casper Site, and he's like kind of really getting big into aliens, and he had one on there where some woman had. I think it was on his show. I hope I'm not saying something wrong. Maybe it was on a documentary. I think it was his show though. They were watching. A woman and her husband was watching their like Ring camera, and she said, like, what is that? And they have like, it was like a little pergola out in their yard. It wasn't a gazebo. It looked more like a pergola. And they're watching, and this, it looked like maybe 8 to 10 foot tall. And at first it looked like a very thin, naked person, but it kind of walked like this, like real weird. And it was like real lanky, and it looked like whitish gray, and it had kind of weird shaped head. And they're watching it, and they're, what is that? What is that? And they're watching it, and it turns around, and then it runs like out towards the back, and then it's like a rocket, and then it's gone. It disappears. And they're watching like, what was that? What was that? Then next thing you know, they're watching it, and it's like right in front of their camera, basically, but like off to the left. And it's like checking something out. It looked like either a skinwalker or an alien. It was real tall and lanky. It had a real weird shaped head. It was rather creepy. And I'm there like, okay, if it was a hoax, if it's on a Ring camera or a CCTV camera,
It's hard to do
you
that.
can't really distort anything on those type of cameras. It's very hard to do that. That's like that camera footage we had from our old house. Whatever that light, people could, at first I thought somebody was in somebody's yard and they had one of those big spotlights. But when you looked at it, which we looked, when you looked at it real close, it looked like a group, maybe of soldiers or something, doing cadence on the road and going back and forth and back and forth.
It was really strange.
It was, and that lasted what? Probably almost a minute or more that we were watching, and we said, okay, well,
we debunked the spider web.
Yeah.
Because that looked weird, really weird and strange, but we saw it move back and forth and everything. We're like, that's spider web. That light, you could literally, like every time a car went by, it would like hide in the bush, or it would walk by very slowly. It was weird.
And it kept on coming back, and it looked like a whole group.
Yeah, you could see the legs.
Yeah. So that was rather strange.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then we did get one time at first where they're like, what the heck is it? And on our Ring camera that was on the back part of our house. And after we looked at it close, it was a big dragonfly that flew real up close, because we were like, what the hell is that?
That was a bee.
I thought it was a dragonfly. Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think I still have that.
It was like a wasp or something.
It was funny because they're like, what is that? And we're like, oh,
we were like, I think he just wants to come in.
Yeah. He was doing a little investigating of his own.
He was.
What was the other weird thing we had on our Ring camera too? Down there.
We had cats show up like all the time.
This one was questionable. Remember, we was watching, it was very questionable, and it showed up on our Ring camera. I can't remember what it was.
I don't know. There's all these questionable things at that house.
Yeah, it looked tall. I mean, you take what's the average size of a pergola? Probably, I'm going to say the minimal is probably 8 foot, but you probably can get them like 10 foot. Because I know even our gazebo that we have, gazebo / tent, whatever you want to call it, it's 8 foot tall, but it's 10 by 12, I think. But this here was the creature was almost as tall as what that pergola was. And it was rather creepy because me and Eric's laughing when we're watching where they're like, had some guy on drugs or something, you know, but he was a naked guy on drugs. But he was kind of walking like this, like I said, real weird walk. And then he went towards the trees, like towards the wooded area, and he ran like fast. It was like, and then he just you couldn't see him. He totally disappeared. The next thing you know, they're looking, and here he is already up here beside their house, checking something out inside of their house.
Yeah, that's creepy.
And it's skinwalkers are fast like that too, and that's why I'm thinking over an alien. It probably was a skinwalker.
Yeah, if it wasn't an alien, then it could have been a.
And there was a wooded area there, so they're indigenous to wooded areas a lot.
Yeah.
Where's Dylan at when we're talking about skinwalkers?
He might be lurking. No,
Dylan, are you lurking? And Dylan, if you're not lurking, why aren't you lurking?
Yeah, what the heck?
Come on. Mamacita, you don't want to see Mamacita? Yeah. Now, it was funny because when we first started seeing that footage on that camera, we saw this like stringy thing, and then it was like a glowing, and it kept on going like this, and there was maybe 10 of them. And we're seeing it going like this, and we're like, what is making those glowing, flashing lights? And as we look closer and zoomed with a spider web with a couple eggs or spiders on, whatever it was, we're like, okay, we got to take that down because we don't want any spideys crawling around. 8-foot person. I'll put it up. 8-foot person in your yard in the bop or a naked 8-foot alien from outer space. That's just it. It's because we're watching that where they're like, first, like I said, first we said a naked person that was maybe on drugs or something, but then damn, that thing's tall and lanky, and the way it walked, that
maybe
like,
it was strutting.
Maybe it was doing that devil, the devil runway walk.
Devil strut.
Like I was telling her, she even had her dad crack up on that one. Anybody have any questions?
Trying to be a fashionable skinwalker alien.
So, did you figure out what kind of outfit Satan had on the runway?
Yeah, it was a nice red leather jacket, and he had his red leather pants.
What kind of shoes? Or did he just have his hooves on? He didn't have anything over his hooves. No, because
he was
well, he couldn't have, because he would have had to make the hoof
He
print
was too hot in hell. That's why he came up when it snowed. Okay. And so he was like, oh, this is nice weather.
But was there steam coming off of him then from his hot body, from the coldness? So he was steaming hot.
He was steaming.
Wow. Wow. Did he have any accessories?
He had little dangly things from his
like I was saying then. So I was right about that part. My vision was right.
He was going to put on a scarf, but he figured that it would be a little bit too much.
Did he have his pitchfork with him?
No.
No, that was a little bit too much
he
too.
Was like, I'll just leave that down in hell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was he by himself, or did he bring some of his pals?
He was by himself because it's a privilege for the demons to get up into earth.
So maybe he sent his other ones to the crossroads then, so they can do his dirty work there for him while he was trying to step on the catwalk. Mm-hmm. Well, it wasn't a catwalk.
Pretty much a sidewalk.
Yeah. Wow. He was like...
He was having a good old time.
He was. I wonder if anybody caught that on the Ring camera.
Some shit.
Can you see in the newspapers, at that time period, they wouldn't have had cameras, with somebody in the newspaper saying, yeah, we saw Satan, and we can draw a picture of what he looked like. You know, we can do an artist sketch. And he was like strutting, almost like he was on like a modeling thing, because they wouldn't say runway and catwalk, because back then they wouldn't probably even know what that was. Like, oh my goodness gracious. Cactus. Work it.
You better work. That's some reference.
Oh. I can go on Suno, and I told Gabriella I could get a nice song, little ditty or something made up for Satan on the Catwalk.
She could.
Make it real cool. The only thing is that we have the other side song, we have a real talk song, and we have a new Lurking Spirit song. And we're just trying to figure how we can get it on here so we can use it on.
Which I really think that you can either record it and use it that way, or
it said recording in progress. So what did you just record?
We are recording.
Oh, I thought when you clicked that, something else started recording. I was a little bit concerned. I think we have left
to
go down,
and then just add sound.
Okay, go scroll down here for a minute. Okay, then go back over here, because I think Abby had the Lurking Spirit one on there, the old Lurking Spirit.
Yeah, Lurking Spirit.
Yeah, right there it is. So, however,
you just do that. You just upload it to your computer. Or actually, we can, if you sent it to yourself on Facebook, we could just get it from there, download it onto your computer, and then it'll be a file.
So maybe the next couple times, so we'll mess around with it after our investigation and stuff and that this weekend. Oh, wait a minute. Our investigation, we were going to, because we're not going to edit it. We're going to do what we did the last time. What we see, they see for the first time.
Okay.
Or what they see, we see the first time, however you want to look at it. We're not going to review it. So all of our blunders, our whatever craziness we might do when we start getting a little uneasy and we cut jokes or whatever, all of that will be uncut, because we said before, to show everybody how true and genuine we really are, we will not watch the film that we record ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We will just put it out. Now, Abby might go on and bring it up on the computer long enough to put like a little intro to it or something like that. But other than that, when we see it, when you see it, will be when we see it for the first time too. So, and we will go live probably for maybe an hour. So, but that'll be cool. What about a warming for Gabby theory? A warning for Gabby theory. Warming.
I don't need to be dewormed.
Do you have a theory for her? A warning for Gabby theory? Do you have that?
I think she's talking about making like a Suno song about it.
Oh, really? I lost track. Is that what you're talking about? Making a song for a warning for Gabriella? The only thing is, it's funny because when I made a song for my kids, and I have to make sure that when I type in what I want the song to be, I have to put Gabriella's name with 2 B's, because I usually go Gabriella.
Yeah, they don't know how, and they make it into a freaking country song for some reason. Even if you want it to be into a different type of song, it takes forever for you to actually figure out how to do that. And then they can't pronounce my name right.
Well, the one that I just made up for you and Abby, it wasn't country. And then the Lurking Spirits one wasn't country. And
well, that's because of the way that you made it. If you didn't put like anything with it, then it would have been country.
So that was cool. But we got a couple. Our new Lurking Spirit song is rather catchy.
Notice Diane and Gabrielle are color coordinating. Oh, we are. Green, yellow, green, yellow.
Yeah. How do we manage that?
Twinsies.
Woohoo. We're working it.
We're running.
Oh my goodness. So, anybody have any comments or questions?
Can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, I'll work on one. Let me see. I'll work on one this weekend. Maybe I'll even throw in her. Well, I'll have to, because it'll be on her theory. So I'll have to work in the Wendigo and the claw-footed children, dark-eyed children, and Satan on the catwalk, and Bigfoot, Littlefoot. Big Littlefoot,
Sibling aliens.
my sibling aliens. I'll have to try to coordinate one of those. Do you want it a catchy beat, or do you want it a more haunting, creepy beat, or what kind of? How do you want it made up?
I think it should be upbeat.
You want it upbeat, especially because of Satan's
Yeah.
catwalk.
Yeah,
Okay,
have his
I'll do. Yeah, we're gonna be Saturday. We're gonna leave probably at 7:30, or no, we probably
windows that ominous.
excuse me. We're probably going to leave maybe 7-ish so we can be over there by 7:30 because we're supposed to start at 8. Now they're giving us until like 3 o'clock in the morning. Depending on if we have a lot of activity, we'll probably go right up to the time limit. If we don't have a lot of activity, we usually quit. The one next month, we were at this place before and we did have activity, and there's one room in there in particular that is real creepy, and something really bad happened in that room. And so I'm hoping we get more activity on that too. The ghost calls are kind of heartbreaking, but it's so interesting the way the communication happened. It makes you wonder. And I think that's what caught my eye, and then why I wanted to do this topic tonight, because it kind of was like a segue from the 911 calls, because you have to wonder. I know when my dad died, there wasn't a phone call, but on the night of his funeral, you could smell whiskey. He was an alcoholic, and you could smell whiskey real strong. You can hear footsteps all night long of walking up and down our staircase. Like there was just all these signs. And then when I physically saw him after that, sitting in his favorite chair, but it was up in my bedroom. His chair wasn't in my bedroom. This is how he appeared to me, sitting in his favorite chair. And I hear, Diane, Diane. And I look, and he was sitting right there. And he says, it's all right now. I'm okay. And vanished. And I saw him as clear as day. And I didn't tell a whole lot of people that, because I think you're wacko when you tell too many people. Now that the paranormal's out a lot more, because he died when I was a senior in high school. So now you can talk about it more openly, and more people are willing to say, hey, wait a minute, I experienced some stuff myself. So, matter of fact, my mom said, my one cousin passed away of cancer at like in her 40s. And ironically, she died on Easter weekend. And my mom said on the night she died, she said she says, Diane, I am not lying to you. I swear on my grave that this is what I saw. And she said she saw an angel come from the house and float over to my other cousin's house, like in that direction, on the night that she passed. And she swears, well, she swore, she can't swear now because she's not here, but she swore about it. She says, I'm telling you. How long do we usually get to investigate? It depends on, a lot of it depends on what you're willing to pay. Like we paid the full price. If it's a partial investigation, it's a full investigation. What the site itself, what they allow. The one we're at, they're allowing 8 to 3 in the morning. A lot of investigations will usually allow you 7 in the morning to like 6 or 7 the next day. A couple that we went on, we normally like being there right before it gets dark, about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, to have time to take a tour of the place, talk to the tour guide or the owners or caretakers, get some info, set up our equipment and start. We're not real, it depends on the activity. If the activity is up, we'll stay past 1 o'clock in the morning, maybe hit 2, 3. If the activity is really not like a lot, and it seems like it's really literally going nowhere, we're lucky if we stay until 1. Like
Yeah,
it's
we
usually
usually-
11 or midnight,
It's
maybe.
usually a few hours for
Yeah.
us, but
We like to have the minimal at the end. I think how long do we usually get? We normally like to have a minimal of 4 hours, but our favorite, we like to have about 6 hours to get half decent investigation. And we don't want to go a lot longer to that than that, because even at 4 hour or 6 hour investigation, we usually break it up into a couple shows. And now that we're not going to be doing any editing on it, that what you see is what we see for the first time, we don't want to have to do 3 or 4 shows to get everything in. So it depends on, like, we could possibly go through it if we know at one point in the investigation that we know we didn't get anything at all. So we might go in and just cut out that section because we're there like we know nothing happened at all. But then we don't like doing that because maybe just because we didn't notice that something happened, maybe something happened that we didn't see. So that somebody else say, hey, wait a minute, you guys didn't know that was going on. Look, there's this back there. And then I saw that move. Some people caught that when we were over at the Ligonier Tavern.
Cactus, I'm bringing my crucifix.
I told them.
It's not crucifix, it's a rosary. My rosary.
I told everybody has a rosary and I need one because it used to be when we very first started out, before we got and started our investigations, we'd all kind of say like the Lord's Prayer or something that before we started an investigation. We asked to be looked over to make sure that we were all going to be safe during the investigation. We stopped doing that. However, we will now at the end of an investigation, if it got that creepy where we felt that, hey, we don't want to take something home with us, we will do a St. Michael's prayer or Lord's Prayer or something. And depending on how creepy, like when we left the theater that we were at, when we come home, we saged ourselves before we stepped in the house or anything, because it just got that, not for us as much as for Gabriella and Eric. That was the,
when 2 people go down,
yeah,
in a whole group,
yeah,
it's time to leave.
We didn't want to take any chances, but now I think they all have rosaries to carry with them. And I had a rosary, some rosary beads somewhere, and I don't know, during our moves
Is
or
it
whatever.
rosary or rosary?
I say rosary, but it's rosary. I just accentuate. It's
Okay.
I say it wrong. It's rosary.
I'm
just
confused.
I don't know why I say it that way. I'm just weird.
I still be wishing you all the best, praying for rain.
I'm a little, well,
I'm concerned.
I don't
a
know
little
how
bit
many.
because of
For those of you who know where we're going, considering that it's a place, I don't want to let the cat out. Well, no, it's not. I'm sure not. It's not like we have like a whole slew of people watching. Considering that it's a place that's mainly centered around men, it's going to be interesting for the 3 of us women being there. And what we're going to do is we are going to have Eric and Chase go in a direction and do their thing. And we're going to have the 3 girls are going to do their thing to see what kind of differences or what kind of activity may or may not happen with just men and just
and
women.
That's why I'm bringing my rosary.
So, Diane has a very cool accent. I don't know why I say, I know the proper pronunciation of that word, but for some reason I've always said rosary, and I don't know why.
I know you kept on saying it so much
Yeah.
that my brain was like, am I saying it
Yeah,
wrong?
no, I just,
Rosary.
it's one of those, what's the other word I said? Well, I say graham crackers.
It's graham. It's just graham crackers.
And you guys say it's
'Cause
graham crackers, but I say
The H
graham
is
crackers.
silent. It's just graham crackers.
Well, I say Graham. That's
But
how
I guess if it was like a name, like somebody's name, you would probably pronounce it Graham.
I don't know. That's just how I pronounced it from the time I was growing up. I've always said that. It's like, I don't know. I guess I would, maybe everybody thinks Abraham, Graham crackers. I say it run together. Like I don't say Graham crackers. I say Graham crackers. Graham,
Graham.
Graham, Graham crackers. So they make fun.
Hey, Juan.
Hey, Juan. Hey, Juan. We're not gonna get that over there. So I mean, there's words. When we
would say gran crackers as a kid. I think we all have. When I was little, I used to say gran crackers too because I thought that it was like crackers that your grandma would give you, so like grandma or like gran.
We have some in the cupboard. We do.
Oh, you can make some graham cracker cake.
I don't have nananunus or pudding.
Well, we can.
I do have coconut.
You can make a non-banana.
A non-banana graham cracker cake.
Just straight up coconut.
Oh lordy.
Pudding. That would be weird. How would you even do that? Would you have to make like the coconut bits into like a paste?
Probably. Well, I have chocolate pudding, but I can't graham cracker cake with chocolate pudding, but no bananas. Because it has to have bananas in it, or it's not a graham cracker cake.
And it's just
Here's the graham. I don't know if you guys know. Maybe you guys that some people will make a very similar thing, but they use vanilla wafers. Well, vanilla wafers. And my family does a graham cracker cake. And it's a layer of graham crackers. Then you get vanilla pudding, and I like the French vanilla pudding because it's a richer vanilla. I like you put a layer of pudding on it. Then you get bananas and you slice them. You can slice them this way. I slice them long ways, lengthwise. Put a layer of bananas. Then you put another layer of graham crackers. Then you put more pudding, more bananas, another layer of graham crackers, more pudding, more bananas, and then you top it with graham. Now you can make it as layered as much as you want. I usually put the 3 layers, and then you top it with the graham crackers. Then you get vanilla icing. But you can use I like the cream cheese icing, and I like the French vanilla icing. But you put icing on the top layer, then you get your shredded coconut, and you sprinkle the top with shredded coconut, and you set it in the refrigerator. In about a day or so, it softens up the graham crackers.
For me,
I think the coconut brings out the whole flavor of the whole cake.
Sour cream. What?
Cream cheese?
Cream cheese. For me, the cream cheese frosting is a little bit too rich.
It's rich as it is. So I like using just regular. My favorite is regular vanilla or French vanilla. Because the French vanilla, I think, has that little bit more of that flavor to it that brings out with the coconut.
It brings out more of the pudding flavor too, since it's vanilla. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really good.
It took years for me to figure out how to say that name. We didn't have them in New Zealand. Exactly, Gabby. That's how my little girl brain understood it too. Glad I'm not the only one that thought it was like grandma cookies.
See, I never thought of that because and I never really listened to my whole family. I think my mom said Graham, like I do, but I really never paid attention to everybody. It's just not one word that you go on as, what are you saying? I just never ever thought that I was saying it wrong.
It must be like an older generation thing, because I think a lot of older people say that, and then the younger folks are lazy and say Graham.
I don't know. But I think when you look it up in the dictionary, I think the proper pronunciation is the way you guys say it, not the way I say it, which is kind of weird because, like I said, that's the same as the word dilemma. Me and Eric got not saying it wasn't an argument or anything, but it's a little dispute years ago. And I'm there like, oh, it drives me crazy. People do not know how to spell the word dilemma. And he goes, well, what do you mean? I said, it's Dilemna. He goes, no, Mom, there's two M's in it. I said, no, that's not right. And I said, Eric, I was taught in school MNA, not two M's.
I think the version that you spell is like the English version.
It is, and that's how we were taught in school.
That's how we were taught. Too.
Yeah. So I'm there like, that's something that I never knew that there was a different way to spell it. It drives me crazy. Like, and you spelled the word field wrong the other day, and that was driving me crazy.
I'm sorry. I'm dyslexic. I get my E's and I's mixed up, and sometimes M's and N's.
That's like some like the pet when we were in the pet peeves. What was the other word that I just came across that somebody I was saying about people know how that there's a fridge with a D in it, but when you spell refrigerator, there is not a D in that word,
which drives me nuts.
I had a coworker that she's smart. Believe me, she was real smart, and she says, "Diane, how do you spell the word refrigerator?" And I zipped it right on. She goes, "There's a D in that." I said, "No, there is." And I said, "There's a D in the word fridge, but there's not a D in the word refrigerator." She said, "Yes, there is." I said, "No, there isn't." I said, "I'm 100% certain that there is not a D in that word." And she said, "Yeah, there is." So I got in. She said, "Damn, I always spelled it with a D." I said, "Same as the word ridiculous. We say ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It comes from the word ridicule. There's no E in it."
It's supposed to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it comes out easier if you say
ridiculous for some reason. Yeah, it's just, and there was another one. Oh, it drives me crazy when people say it.
Yeah, I spelled color as that color and rumor and rumor.
That's the same as the word gray.
Yeah, it could be AY
or EY. When I was growing up, we always spelled it AY. When I started seeing it with E in it, I'm there like, the word theater.
It's the opposite for me. I've always spelled the EY.
See, I always spelled it AY.
Because I like the color gray, but if you're feeling gray, I put AY.
See, no, I put the color gray, and I would think if you were
it's the opposite.
And the word theater and the word center and stuff like that. You can spell theater R-E or E-R, same as center. You can spell it R-E or E-R. Cream. What kind of cream are you talking about? Because you could spell it C-R-E-A-M or you could spell it C-R-E-M-E. So it's just like all these.
I thought that was creme, like a creme brulee.
Well, that's usually creme. Yeah, that's exactly. But people will put the word cream down and spell it C-R-E-M-E. The proper way is C-R-E-A-M, but see these nitpicking things like that. There was one that I was going to say here right at the top, and it literally drives me crazy. And for the life of me, I can't remember what it is now. And I'll think of it when we're done off the show.
Elementary?
No, elementary and documentary. No, that's not how those. They didn't go elementary.
Center. Center drives me nuts because some people spell it R-E instead of just
that's
E-R.
That's the one I just said, center and theater. Because you can spell theater R-E and center R-E, but
center drives me nuts because I'm like...
You had that in your thing the other day. Remember on that one place, it's at center does something or
I think what drives me the most insane, though, is when somebody tries to say something about an angel and instead says angle.
Yeah, people don't know. And the word, the theirs and the yours and choose. Think when you say it, there, and there. Your, and your. Like, well, you are and your. You are your. I could go on and on and on about it because some of these things really, and Linda, you're originally from New Zealand. The English language is probably the most difficult language because for every rule, English grammar rule, there is an exception to that rule.
Well, it's okay, so it's weird because there's a lot of words that rhyme with each other that aren't spelled the same or that are like read is also read but spelt the same. There's more, but I can't think of them right now.
And here's one that people know that they made fun of us down south for it. I don't know how many of you guys. If I said I'm going to rent up the house, do you know what that means?
Oh my gosh, I got made up fun of so bad at school when I would say I just gotta go read up my
In
desk real
South
quick.
Carolina, yet they'll say that, oh, she's a mess, and that's a good thing. No, she's a mess. If my house is a mess, that isn't a good thing.
Yeah, it's usually
That's another.
like she's a mess, that she's crazy.
So we used to drive the people in South Carolina crazy was we said, well, I'm going to go home and there's some things that I got to read up in the house. And they're like, read up? Yeah, clean up, getting all straightened up and that, reading up the house. That's weird. They're like, oh, like the shit that you guys are saying ain't weird.
Yeah, like mash the button.
Smash the button and mash the button.
What was that? They didn't say turn on or turn
Cut
off
off.
lights. They said cut on or cut off lights.
Which that kind of I can understand that to a point because you are cutting off the electricity
Well,
when
they
you
said that like to power on your computer, turn off your computer.
cut it
and,
on, cut
like,
it off,
it,
yeah.
I don't know. It just drove me nuts.
like
I was
mash that button too. Like,
like,
just
no,
mash. I'm not mashing that button. I don't want to break it. No, you're pressing or you're
Said
pushing.
mash it.
You never heard that term, Cactus? Yeah,
We're Pennsylvania.
yeah, we're Pennsylvanians. Like Pennsylvanians, we say crick instead of creek.
Yep.
It's not a creek, it's a crick. Let's go down to the creek and catch some crabs. Not crawdads, crabs. And on the
first
lights.
time I heard that was from him. Cut on the lights. It was like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that throughout school all the time, and I was like, "You mean turn on? Like you turn on something? You turn off something?" And then I was like so confused. They're like, "That means just like click it, turn it off."
There's another weird thing that, like, well, here's the one thing too we get made fun of, and I don't know if it's just in certain parts of Pennsylvania or not. Radiator. It's supposed to be radiator because you're radiating heat from it. We say radiator, and I think that's a Pennsylvania thing. But hey, we're Pennsylvania. That's our language there. Like, hey,
Do you say Colorado or the other way?
I say Colorado.
Okay, good. I say Colorado.
Yeah.
There's another way people say it. I can't say it. I can't think of it or say it at the moment.
Well, that's like Louisiana. We say Louisiana, but I guess they go Louisiana. Louisiana, go down Louisiana.
That's like some people actually call Arkansas Arkansas.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way it
Well,
should be
that's-
pronounced, but it's not.
Well, that's like New Orleans. We say New Orleans, but it's Narlins.
And I just recently found out that I've been
Narlins.
spelling freaking Minnesota wrong my entire life because I always thought it was mini soda.
No.
Well,
That's how I thought it was.
well, I told you about Missouri, right?
What?
Apparently, it's not actually pronounced Missouri. The people that are over there say Missouri.
Yeah, Missouri. Yep. Yeah. Yep. That's like we say Lancaster, but it's supposed to really be Lancaster.
Yeah, I can't judge. California has some funky terminology as well. Didn't realize.
Nevada instead of Nevada.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but we could go on and on and on forever, and
Brother.
for forever.
Well, I was
Well,
trying to say something before and I can't even remember
that
what
was
it
like that one thing that really puts a burr on my ass. The one word people say, and it drives me nuts. And I can't think of for the life of me of what it is. I wonder if it was on with the pet peeve one.
I think.
And guys, I don't know if you're interested or not. I'm just doing it for the hell of it for my own self. But I am writing a third version of Chippewa Owl. But it's not going to be, I'm not going to have the whole intro and that. It's going to be once we get to the dock and meet Alex from that point to where we get to the island. And it's going to be a whole other version. So I don't know if I'm doing it for my new personal self when I get it done. If you guys want to hear it, that's fine and dandy. If not, that's cool. That's cool. I have no problem with that. I'm keen with it. I'm cool with it.
I can't remember what I was going to say.
Let's see.
Before.
Let me see if it's on this one because I think there was one before we go. It was a pet peeve. I can't remember what the hell it was. One word somebody says and they say it wrong. And I had a lady that I worked with up at Toys R Us, and my one cousin did it too. They said they couldn't say spaghetti. And both that lady that I worked with and both my cousin were there say spa. Say spa. And they're like spa. And then we're there Getty. And they're like Getty. And we're there say put them together. Piscetti. Come on, you can't. Come on. Nobody can convince me when you hear spa, Getty, and then you say put them together, you still say Piscetti.
Spaghetti.
Piscetti.
Spaghetti.
Uh-huh.
That's like, I just lost my train of thought.
Let me see.
Oh, specific and Pacific. When you are talking about something specific, you're not talking about the freaking Pacific Ocean.
I'm glad you said that, Deborah, because that pisses me off.
You want me to tell the one that pisses them off, Eric, for you? Eric, and I agree with him, supposedly.
Oh my God.
Supposedly. Oh, that's the one I was going to say. There's two of them, actually. And we have to laugh every time we hear it. I love when people say, when they come into the store, when I was working at the Dollar Tree, they said, where are your vanilla envelopes at? And
Yummy.
well, like they're
envelope.
next to the strawberry and the chocolate ones. But if you're looking for manila, they're in our stationery aisle.
Yummy vanilla
envelopes.
That sounds like one of the snacks that we would find in Universal Yums.
Yeah, maybe we'll get those in Universal Yums. And then here's the other thing. And me and Eric had laughed. And Eric, when he was working at the Food Lion store, he got a lot of it. People would come in and say, sir, could you show me where your Confederate sugar's at? You mean confectioner sugar? Because we don't have Confederate sugar here. Confederate sugar.
Confederate sugar.
Confederate. I knew we were in the South, but come on. So if you guys want to, we can always do another. You see, you guys said that was fun. We could always do another pet peeve show or something like that.
I wish I could figure out
did
what I
have
was
fun.
trying to say before because it completely slipped my mind and it was something good.
You'll think of it as soon as we fuck off.
Probably not. My brain is like,
And guys, I'm not my normal self, and I apologize, but we got sick from the Universal Yums, which y'all know, and from like the following day after that, I did not get any sleep. I got a little bit last night, but the night before, I literally got none. And so I'm just, if I seem like short or anything, well, I am short. I apologize because that's not me. That's like when we do our snacks and everything and that, we all sat here and I feel we had to laugh because I said that we had to swallow this stuff and we all agreed, no, we're not going to be swallowing. I had to spit mine out and that we're not going to do that.
And if there's anything, and I mean anything that is black licorice, I will not swallow it. I'm not going to taste it either. Nope. It literally tastes
But
like
we
how
did.
skunk's
And that's
ass
where I
smells.
kind of have to draw the line. I think I'm like, I don't like lemon. I don't like lemon, but I will try it just because that's what we do. And some of those like that your dad likes that candy, that elderflower. He likes that.
Yeah, Abby liked it too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll try it, but I'm kind of like you, especially if it's black licorice. I don't know if
If
we
it's
get it.
normal licorice,
we
then
could-
I will
yeah.
try it. But if it's black licorice,
Yeah.
it literally tastes like how a skunk's ass
If
smells.
it's mixed in with something, are you still gonna try it?
If I can smell the black licorice, that immediately makes my stomach
See,
go.
that's me
"Whoa."
too. But
So I don't know.
me, I'm willing to try like even the vomit jelly beans. Eric ate those. Like I bit into it, and that's the one time I thought for sure I was 100% without a shadow of a doubt going to throw up. But I will maybe bite into it. But if I taste more licorice, that maybe something will complement the licorice. I can't see that happening.
Black licorice takes over any.
It does.
taste of
I know.
anything.
I might still be willing to try.
It's like the freaking dog food
Yeah.
jelly bean.
I'm like with you on that though. When it comes to black licorice, I think I might have to draw a line on that too, or if it's I don't know, but we'll discuss this. We don't know what all we're going to get yet in our next package. Because from what I'm seeing, the list that they show doesn't necessarily mean what they're going to put in the box. So some of that stuff I read to you the other day, we might not get in our box, but we'll see. But we're at almost an hour and a half. We're probably boring the shit out of our wonderful peoples on here. So we are going to end the show. Well, I got an outro.
She got an outro.
I got an outro.
But we're
So-
still doing our outro.
So we're going to, yeah, we will. So as technology connects us across the world, some believe it may also connect us to something else. Voices in the static, calls with no origin, messages that arrive after death. Maybe they're coincidences, maybe they're tricks of grief, or maybe, just maybe, the dead are still trying to reach us. So with that being said, they say this,
Oh my lord.
we listen and we don't judge. She can sniff whatever, whenever. Exactly.
I don't sniff skunk's butt. It's what comes out of the skunk's butt that anybody can
But
smell.
you know yourself, though, and I know we're supposed to end this. You know yourself, though, sometimes you'll smell a skunk alongside the road and you're there like, it actually sometimes smells okay. But
Yeah, I mean,
the majority of the time, though, it's like,
if it's been ran over, you can smell
Usually,
it really
yeah.
bad. It's really bad.
Yeah. but you gotta
Sometimes if you're just passing by and maybe it was also just passing by, the smell kind of
sometimes
wavers away.
but
a
you
little bit.
kind of got they use skunk the scent in some perfumes. They do. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Ew.
But with that being said, we are going to say adios amigos because you guys are wonderful as always. And remember, we love you. And if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be doing this. Or maybe we might. I don't know. You know, we just pass time. No, I literally did say we would be doing this anyhow because this is for the kids when I might make a phone call from beyond, which we don't want to talk about. Anyhow, thanks for showing up, guys. The faithfuls are always here. If you like, you subscribed already. If you like it, tell your friends, friends. You've heard all that before. With that being said, we love you and stay tuned, guys.
Peace out.
Love you, love you, love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you on Tuesday.
See ya on the flip side.